Have you ever been on a high-stakes project, war room style project I may add? You know, the kind where everyone's heads down, the team's practically living on caffeine, whiteboards never seem to look white, and you're all chasing a deadline that was promised to the board before the scope was even real. Somehow, you still miss something absolutely critical. Something so basic, it blows up your timeline, and these things happen far too often. So, could it have been avoided if the team has stepped outside of their bubble? Today we're unpacking one of the most dangerous project traps out there, and I coin it drinking the Kool Aid. Here, I'm Kai Husbands from Vested, where we sharpen the art and science of project leadership, management, and innovation. Today, we're focusing on getting the right things done. So if you're a project leader who values clarity over chaos and truth over comfort, you are in the right place, because sometimes the biggest risk to your project is believing your own hype. So how do these war room blind spots even happen to begin with? Well, it happens when teams get so locked in, so heads down, they lose sight of the bigger picture. And they stop asking hard questions, stop listening to voices outside the room, and as a result, you, Mr. Project Lead, stop truly leading. So I always say, don't drink the Kool Aid. But what does this really mean? When you're emotionally invested in a project or program, you stop seeing things as clearly as you could. You fall in love with your own ideas, your own project plans, the way that you lay out things, and you ignore the inconvenient truths of the people on your team who, guess what? They may see things that you may not see. Now, worst of all, you stop asking for feedback from people who aren't as closely inside your circle. That's when blind spots really grow. Confirmation bias creeps in, and your team mistakes momentum for progress. So here's a true story, a war room blind spot let me just take you inside this real example. A few months back, we had a high priority initiative. I'll call it an initiative. The business had already promised the board a delivery date that was, if we're being honest, impossible. So the team set up a war room. They showed up every day, Monday to Friday, heads down, working hard, defining scope, chasing tasks. But in all that hustle, they missed one massive detail: a third-party data migration dependency. It was in scope, it wasn't even costed, and it definitely was not accounted for in the schedule. And when it finally surfaced, the executives weren't very happy. Trust was definitely shaken, and that early miss cost this project team more than 4 months delay. So the question is, where did it go so wrong? And it's not because the team didn't care. I mean, these team members were locked in. It's not because they didn't work hard. They're pushing 10 and 12-hour days most times. It was because they never stepped outside the room. No early reviews with outsiders, no conversations with third parties, and no one to challenge the assumptions that they were making. So where do we go from here, project leaders? What do we do instead? How do you avoid this ultimately? So here are 4 ways to protect your project from Kool Aid thinking. I think I just created that, Kool Aid thinking. That's funny. Number 1, schedule external sanity checks early. Now, we like to talk about devil's advocate. Do we really want a devil's advocate as part of our breakout war room team? We really ought to invite them in. And from here, just schedule them in. If you know you've got that person who's the antagonizer on your extended team or in your organization, invite them into your sessions. Let them punch holes in your plan and get that opportunity to see things that you clearly don't want to see sometimes. Number 2, create a reality review, aka project reviews for us. Make space mid-planning to ask, are we still solving the right problem? And are we solving the right problem the right way? Oftentimes, you got a solution locked in way too early. You've got everything built going in that direction, and it could have been so much easier or efficient going in the opposite direction. And your stakeholders, some of those ones that that invite dissent, they'll see things in a way that you may oftentimes overlook. Number 3, include those non-core team voices. Pull in finance, data, operations, anyone whose view could add friction. Friction to your conversations, friction to the way that you're seeing things. And remember, friction is not failure, it is foresight. Number 4, break your echo chamber. If everyone agrees, it's a red flag, especially when you're locked in a war room setting. So invite the disagreement, invite the dissent, encourage challenge, encourage people to question things of each other, because that's how real leaders show up. So before your next project goes heads down and all in, take a step back, step outside, ask someone who isn't drinking the Kool Aid with you, I may add. Now that 5-minute convo might just save your whole timeline, and in addition, your credibility and your project leadership brand. So if this resonated with you, give it a like, subscribe for more lessons in real world project leadership. Drop a comment below if you can. I'd love to hear you as well. What is the biggest blind spot you've ever seen on your project or a project team miss? And remember, lastly, clarity comes from distance, not just effort. So don't mistake effort for clarity. And leadership starts when you make space for challenge, not just consensus. So what do you have to do now? Just jump into it, vest up, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you for watching.